See, we're trading with each other. See, we're friends. Italy just joined One Belt, One Road initiative. See, it doesn't matter if they have some concentration camps there. It doesn't matter if this regime looks almost like the new version of Nazi Germany with Chinese characteristics. It's okay. We're gonna cooperate. We're gonna appease them because we want some Chinese money and some Chinese cheap labor. Hi everyone, my name is Dan. I'm a YouTuber from Poland who used to live in Taiwan for 9 years and now making videos in Mandarin on Asian politics. This is my English channel, which is called Stan's Free Speech channel, as I have some videos in English on my main channel and I have received some inquiries on making more English content. I realized that it would be even better to start an English channel so that I can probably reach a broader audience. So let me know if you come here from my main channel. Just to add a small remark, I'm a libertarian, pro-free market, pro-limited government. I think that most of YouTubers that speak Mandarin fluently are more pro-welfare state, more left-wing, and probably my perspective as a libertarian, as a right libertarian who really likes Friedrich Hayek and Milton Friedman's works, gonna be interesting for my English-speaking viewers, as I really don't like where this world is heading right now with left ideologies being so popular. Today let's discuss two topics. First one is EU-China Comprehensive Investment Agreement, and the second one is the legacy of Donald Trump. EU-China CAI, which is Comprehensive Agreement on Investment, has been discussed for a period more than 7 years, and during 2020 it was actually rushed by Germany, as Germany is the country that actually is going to benefit most of this agreement. There were concerns in regards to this agreement amongst other European countries, and in Poland in particular. The negotiations were finalized late 2020, so the agreement will be signed, it should be ratified within this year, and we have seen the text, we have seen what is this agreement about only on January 22nd, and it says everywhere that it's not the final version, it will be adjusted, and what I have seen in the text of the agreement that was made public only on January 22nd actually makes me pretty worried, because China is not a trustworthy partner. Communist China, communist regime, they're not the guys that you actually think that have some rule of law and democracy there. It's a country that uses slave labor. What I'm going to tell you, China has a pretty bad track record if we're talking about the agreements they have signed. No matter if we're talking about the agreement with Tibet or Sino-British Joint Declaration, 50 years without changes, Hong Kong should have high autonomy. They just adopted national security law in Beijing for Hong Kong without any consultations with LECCOL, Legislative Council of Hong Kong. Or how they violate international law with their actions in South China Sea, or how they don't follow with the decisions of Permanent Court of Arbitration. So yeah, they use international law only when it's beneficial to them. And if they don't like what's written there in the documents, they're gonna tell you that it's a historical document. Or like their spokesperson Zhao Lijian likes to say, a piece of waste paper.
废纸一张.
And talking about the atrocities of Chinese Communist government, what they're doing in Xinjiang by building those concentration camps, or the oppression of Tibetan people, or the oppression of Mongolians, or what they do in Hong Kong, or how are they constantly threatening Taiwan, a democratic country, to the east of China, how are they sending military vessels, planes, how missiles are facing the island nations, and that they want to occupy it, and that they want to make Taiwan a part of China, which it has never been. If you look at the international law, if you look at the documents, I made a whole video why Taiwan is an independent country, why doesn't it belong to China. You can just watch the video, link gonna appear right here. And one of the worst things that's going on in China right now is that they are using the forced labor. They didn't sign the Convention on the Use of Forced Labor up until now, even though there has been some speculations that signing into this convention is gonna be one of the key points of this investment agreement, and the agreement will be signed only if China fixes its forced labor problem, if it abolishes using of forced labor. But it didn't do it, and in the current version of the investment agreement, nothing is actually saying that China should sign into this convention, that China should abolish forced labor. So yeah, good for you, European Union, talking about human rights, talking about freedoms, talking about democracy, but making business with some bandits, like Chinese Communist Party. And the terms of this agreement make it even easier for the Chinese businesses to invest here in Europe. Americans don't have the same terms. The UK doesn't have the same terms. Australia, Canada, Japan, Taiwan, Korea, these countries don't have such a preferential treatment as China is going to have. And those countries are liberal democracies, countries that share the same values with the European Union. So I'm just gonna ask, what's going on? Are you guys out of your mind? You treat communist thugs better than liberal democracies. Wow. Pretty impressive. There is a major problem with this agreement that actually creates a huge gate, a whole new legal system for the Chinese spies, for the communist spies to come into European Union, for illegal workers to come into European Union, and that actually is not going to create any of new jobs here in Europe. Who will benefit? Big German companies. German government will benefit. Some governmental officials are going to benefit, but not the people of the European Union. Why I'm talking about Article 6? According to the provisions of this Article 6, managers and specialists of Chinese companies that are going to open their businesses in Europe will be allowed to have 3 years residence in Europe for the purposes of opening business. But the key concern here is how are they going to let the people in? Is it going to be a 3-year visa under which they can just come to Europe and live here for 3 years? If it is, then it's pretty dangerous, because right now there are many Chinese businesses that can open here in Europe, and if they want to send some of their workers here, for example, to Poland, and if those workers are needed here for a long period of time, they can apply for residence permit. During the application process, police is going to have an inquiry, National Security Bureau is going to answer the inquiry, Customs Office is going to answer the inquiry, tax offices, just to check if those people have violated any laws before. If it's all good, they just get their residence permit and they can stay here for a period longer than 3 years, 5, 6, 10, they can naturalize. In Poland, I don't know about other European countries, but it should be pretty similar. But with this new system, if they just receive the visa for 3 years, no checkups, they can just come and stay here for 3 years. What are they going to do here? Who are those people? How are we going to know? What will they do here? If they will spy on European citizens, if they're going to be involved in stealing of technologies, if they come to one country and then just get reassigned to another one so that we cannot track them. These are pretty serious security concerns. Even with the current pretty strict system, we have a major spy scandal with Huawei in Warsaw. We have many illegal workers in Italy making clothes, coming to Italy illegally, using fake documents, sometimes fake passports, even with the strict system that we have right now. And if you just allow the people to come here for 3 years, because it's going to be pretty easy to prove that one particular person is a needed worker here. Because, I don't know, you open a factory, probably the machinery, all of the elements, all the instructions are in Mandarin Chinese, so you have to use a specialist that can speak Chinese. It's going to be harder to find someone here in Europe, so they'll probably just give a visa to a Chinese guy. And getting visa is not as hard. He's not going to have any background check, like serious background check. How are these visas going to be used? Probably for tax evasion purposes, probably for spying, probably for avoiding the national security checkups. And what's very important, the United States, the citizens of the United States, they don't have same treatment. Canadians don't have the same treatment. Australians, Japanese people, Taiwanese people, Koreans, people from India, they don't have the same treatment. People from liberal democracy don't have the same treatment. And what's even worse, by signing such an agreement, it's like a big approval by the European Union of the Communist China. See, we're trading with each other. See, we're friends. See, Italy just joined One Belt, One Road initiative. See, it doesn't matter if they have some concentration camps there. It doesn't matter if this regime looks almost like the new version of Nazi Germany with Chinese characteristics. It's okay, we're gonna cooperate, we're gonna appease them because we want some Chinese money and some Chinese cheap labor. We're gonna tell them, don't be bad to Hong Kong, don't threaten Taiwan, but Taiwan is a part of China. Following China on Taiwanese issue is one of the biggest betrayals of European values that could have ever happened. Taiwan, a vibrant democracy, a free society with freedom of speech guaranteed, freedom of religion. They just passed marriage equality laws recently, which is very good. One of the leaders in Asia in terms of human rights, in terms of minority rights. And yeah, the EU wants to trade with the communists. Why didn't you sign the same agreement with Cuba, with Venezuela? Why didn't European countries sign the same investment deal with former Soviet Union? Seems like hypocrisy to me. I truly hope that this agreement will not be ratified. Otherwise, it's gonna be one of the biggest stabs in the back of all the European values. And second topic I'm gonna discuss today, because recently I've seen some YouTubers, Mandarin-speaking YouTubers, that are pretty critical of Donald J. Trump and his presidency. But just to show you another perspective, because I used to live in Taiwan, and Taiwanese people, they like Donald Trump. They think that it's one of the most pro-Taiwanese president in recent American history, during the last 30 years at least. So just to give you my perspective as a Polish person and as a person who used to live in Taiwan and has Taiwanese family. Firstly, Trump accepted the call of President Taiwan in 2016, first time since 1979 when the relationships between the United States and Taiwan got terminated. And since then, I thought that, wow, that's gonna be interesting. Probably it's going to be the first president who is supporting Taiwan publicly. And yeah, it was so. He was pretty critical in China since the beginning, especially on the issues like technology theft, protectionism, and human rights issues. He supported Hong Kong publicly, and he always maintained friendly relations with Taiwan. He increased the military equipment sales to Taiwan. He sent high-rank officials to Taiwan, including Alex Azar and Keith Krog. He agreed with Taiwan, which is the champion at fighting the CCP virus, on how should the United States approach the new pandemic. And he really saw Taiwan as a reliable partner. So Taiwanese people are pretty pro-Trump, and I totally understand them. And as a Polish person, finally Poland joined ESTA during Trump's administration period, even though it's not what Trump did directly, it's because just Poland fulfilled the requirements that are needed to join ESTA, but still, nevertheless. But what is important, our military cooperation improved drastically during Trump's presidency. And right now we have a full understanding as a NATO member and as the United States partner that they have our back. Especially after signing the defense cooperation deal when Mike Pompeo visited Poland in 2020. And as an outsider, as a person who doesn't live in the United States, what did I see and how did I see Trump's presidency? First, Trump's administration didn't start any new wars, comparing to Obama, Bush, Clinton. Then there were new peace deals in the Middle East, including Israel-UAE normalization agreement. Then some improvements in relationships between North and South Korea. And then cooperation in Five Eyes Alliance and Quad Alliance, which in my opinion are the best ways to stop the CCP's expansion. One of the lowest unemployment rates in history of the United States, including the unemployment rates of Black community and Latino community. So businesses coming back to the United States, so GDP growth before the CCP virus, tax cuts, deregulation, American soldiers coming back home. I don't know, for me, he was a pretty good president. Even though accused of being a monster, a devil, a racist person, even though he condemned racism and all kinds of racist behaviors. So honestly, my opinion, especially when I hear people talking bad things about Donald Trump, I think he was not as bad as people portray him. But that's just me, you might have your own opinion. Or don't welcome anyone with different opinion to your channel. So yeah, these are just my thoughts on what Trump has done during these 4 years. And why I want to tell you that, because Donald Trump just opened office of Donald J. Trump, former president of the United States. So let's see, I think it's a pretty good idea. As right now, as an American citizen, he can participate in some public initiatives, give some endorsements, and his influence is only going to grow. So let's see, it's gonna be interesting. So yeah, this is Stan. That's my first video on my English channel. Hope you liked it. Just let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to hear my thoughts on any particular topic, especially in regards to the latest news about what's going on in Taiwan, feel free to leave a comment. See you in the next one. 天上不会掉馅儿饼，大家撸起袖子加油干！加油干！